Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we've got another trade tree video. In today's video, I'm doing one that happened all the way back in 2017, a trade between the Arizona Coyotes and the New York Rangers that's still benefiting both franchises. We'll get to this very intriguing trade tree coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the End-to-End Hockey channel. Now before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to with all of you guys, so if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below, don't forget to comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and don't forget to stay tuned for more videos coming out in the very near future. So in today's video, we've got another trade tree video. We've done a couple of these over the past couple of weeks. We did one involving Taylor Hall, we did one involving Jack Campbell. Today we're doing the Derek Stepan trade tree. So this was back in 2017. This was just before I think the Rangers started to give that letter out that announced that the Rangers were going through a rebuild, and they apologized to the fans that their next few years are probably not going to be overly good. This was just before that. This was, I think, the off season before that happened. So the Rangers were still a pretty good team, and they were looking to free up some cap space. So the Rangers, on June 23rd, 2017, struck up a deal with the Arizona Coyotes to create said cap space. The trade was as follows. It was a 2-for-2 asset swap. The New York Rangers acquired Tony DeAngelo and a 2017 first round pick, 7th overall, from the Arizona Coyotes for Derek Stepan and Antti Raanta. This was a very interesting trade at the time for the Coyotes. It helped shore up their center position because at the time Stephan was still a pretty gosh darn good second line center, and they were able to get some goalie depth by adding Antti Raanta. For the Rangers, they got younger on the blue line by adding Tony DeAngelo, clear up Stephan's big cap hit, and they also got a first round pick, which was a top 10 pick at the time. So very interesting out there. Was a very interesting move. A couple of these are really small branches, but there are a couple that are still helping both these franchises. So we'll start with the New York Rangers side. We'll start with Tony DeAngelo. So DeAngelo is coming off a season in Arizona where he had 5 goals and 14 points in 39 games. In the 16-17 season, also had 16 points in 25 AHL games. He had at the time established himself as a solid NHL player, but he was looking like he was going to eventually be a solid NHL player. So the Rangers took him. They were hoping he'll be able to get top 4 minutes right from the get-go. The 17-18 season for DeAngelo wasn't overly great. It had 8 assists in 32 games, as well as 13 points in 29 AHL games, so once again split time between the NHL and AHL. But then the 18-19 season, he really broke out. DeAngelo looked great, playing 61 games, the most he's played at the NHL level in his entire career, putting up 4 goals and 30 points. And then the following season, breakout numbers. He had a career high 15 goals and a stunning 53 points in 68 games for New York Rangers, playing in their top 4. Like, he was a monster offensive blue liner for the New York Rangers and looked completely good. But then the 2020-2021 season, it all came crashing to a halt for DeAngelo. Playing 6 games for the Rangers, had 1 assist, but then got in an off-ice skirmish with one of his teammates, an altercation. It didn't really go well with the rest of the team, so I don't think he played at all the rest of that season. And then the New York Rangers wound up, I think it was either terminating his contract or buying him out. So it wasn't an overly great look there for the Rangers, as after paying him $4.8 million after the 53-point season he had the year prior, they wound up buying him out. So that branch of the trade tree ends because after the contract termination or buyout, like, the Rangers don't have anything more to show for it. So DeAngelo did give them a couple of good seasons, had 30-point season followed by 53-point season a couple of years back, but he was bought out because of that altercation, and that branch of the trade tree ends. But the other branch is very intriguing. So with the other branch, it was a 2017 first round pick, 7th overall. It was an extremely high draft pick that the Rangers were able to get, and giving up Stephan and Raanta. At the time, there was a lot of different ways they could go. Now looking back on it, had they taken a guy like Gabe Vilardi, Martin Necas, Nick Suzuki with the 7th overall pick, the Rangers would be in a really good position. But the guy who they wound up taking 7th overall in that draft was Lias Andersson. Andersson was at the time viewed as one of the top end prospects in this draft. Not that high. I think he was even taken at the 7th overall pick as a reach. He was probably projected to go like 15th, 20th overall. He wound up going 7th. So the Rangers reached a little bit. They were hoping he was going to be able to turn into like a solid top 9, top 6 center / winger. His first season, his first pro level season, had 25 AHL games, putting up 14 points, and had a goal and 2 points in 7 NHL games, which wasn't overly great. Then his first full season at the pro level in the 18-19 2018-19 season, he had 6 goals, 20 points in 36 AHL games. Also had 2 goals and 6 points in 42 NHL games, so did all right at the NHL and AHL level. Started looking a little bit more comfortable at the pro level. Then he had 4 goals and 5 points in 13 AHL games, assists in 17 NHL games in the 1920 season. So he didn't play a whole bunch. He went back over to the SHL, wasn't getting a whole bunch of playing time, and didn't look overly comfortable at the pro level. So that following off season, the 2020 off season, with him not looking overly good, the New York Rangers would cut ties with Lias Andersson and they would make a trade. The trade was as follows. It was a quick 1-for-1 swap with the Los Angeles Kings on October 7th, and the trade was as follows. The New York Rangers moved Lias Andersson to the LA Kings for a 2020 second round pick. So it was a very interesting trade. The Kings would take a chance on Lias Andersson with him not doing overly good in the Rangers organization, and then the Rangers would just get a second round pick, which was the best at the time for a prospect that was really underwhelming for them. But this trade would actually work for the Rangers because with the 2020 second round pick, 60th overall, the New York Rangers selected Will Cooley. Now, Cooley had to go through development for a couple of years, so it took him a little bit of time to get to the NHL level. He got his first taste of NHL action in the 22-23 season, putting up no points in 4 games. But the last 2 seasons, he's played the entirety at the NHL level and looked fantastic. 2 years ago in his rookie season, had 13 goals, 21 points in 81 games. Last year, started to really break out. Was a solid middle 6 forward, hit 20 goals for the first time in his career, had a 45-point season in 82 games, looked dominant for the New York Rangers. So as much as the Lias Andersson pick was never a good one for the Rangers, and 7th overall, they could have gotten a lot better players in the 2017 draft, getting Will Cooley because of it was not overly bad there for the New York Rangers, and he's still on their team, just signed a bridge deal to remain with the New York Rangers organization. So that's the side of the Rangers. After acquiring a first round pick and Tony DeAngelo, the only thing that the Rangers have to show for it at this point in time is Will Cooley. So very interesting note there. Next, going over to the Coyotes side of things. Now for the Coyotes side, they got 2 pieces here. We're going to start in nets with the goalie they got in this trade, and that was Antti Raanta. Raanta started his career off in the Chicago Blackhawks organization, had at the time of the trade a couple of seasons with the Rangers, coming off a season where he had 2.26 GAA and a .922 save percentage in 30 games. He would then proceed to spend the next 4 seasons in Arizona. He would finish out the current contract that he was on with the Rangers, and then he signed a 3-year extension to remain in Arizona. Injuries were always a trouble for Antti Raanta during his tenure with the Arizona Coyotes. First season was relatively healthy, playing 47 games, having a 2.24 GAA, .930 save percentage. The following season only got to 12 games, having a 2.88 GAA, now 6 save percentage. Then the year after, more healthier season, having 33 games and putting up a 2.63 GAA and .921 save percentage. And then once again, injury-riddled season during the 2020-2021 season, only playing in 12 games, putting up a 3.36 GAA and .905 save percentage. So it wasn't like Brandon was a bad goaltender, and it was actually a pretty good tandem with whoever the Coyotes had during those seasons. Like, I think at some points it was Kemper, there were a couple of other goaltenders too, but whoever was with Raanta was a really good tandem partner, and if Raanta was healthy, he played quite good for the Arizona Coyotes. But in the 2021 offseason, with his contract ending and the Coyotes still in no man's land when it comes to making the playoffs, Raanta wound up packing up and going to Carolina, where he spent the next couple of seasons. So with him leaving as a free agent and not signing and staying with the Coyotes, that branch of the trade tree ends. So very interesting note there. And the last piece of this deal was Derek Stepan. Now Stephan, at the time of this trade, was a long-time New York Rangers player, had played his entire career with the Rangers, had good season after good season after good season. His career low at the time of the trade during a single season with 44 points he had in a 3rd season in the 2012-2013 shortened season. So he was consistently putting up 40 to 50 points, was a really solid second-line center for the Rangers. The Rangers needed cap space, so they had to move on for him. So the Coyotes were getting a solid second-line center. So Stephan, at the time of the trade, had 4 seasons left on his current contract with a $6.5 million AAV. So the first 3 seasons he would spend in Arizona. The first year was a pretty good season, putting up his highest point total he had in a number of years, having 14 goals and 56 points in 82 games in the 17-18 season with Arizona. But after that, started to really tail off. The following season had 15 goals and only 35 points in 72 games, which was a career low for him. And then the following season had 10 goals and 28 points in 70 games. So you could see the first season was great with Stephan in Arizona, but after that started to trail off quite a bit for the Coyotes. So with that, the Arizona Coyotes would trade him, with him entering the final year of his season, and just before the shortened season started, in the 2020-2021 season, the Arizona Coyotes make a trade with the Ottawa Senators. They would move Derek Stepan in the final year of his deal, the $6.5 million AAV, to the Ottawa Senators for the Columbus Blue Jackets 2021 second round pick. It was a very interesting trade. They were able to get something back for Stephan, which was good. Stephan, after that trade, never really found his game, became more of like a bomb six forward, didn't put up a whole bunch of point totals in Ottawa or later on in Carolina. So it was a smart move there from the Coyotes to move on when they did, and they would wind up getting a second round pick. They would keep that pick, and they would use the pick. The 2021 second round pick wound up being 37th overall. The 37th overall selection in 2021 draft was the Arizona Coyotes drafting a former Coyotes son, and that was them drafting Josh Doan. Doan was 37th overall. Doan was selected with the pick that they got in the Derek Stepan trade. So very interesting note there. The Derek Stepan trade actually helped them acquire Josh Doan. Doan would spend a couple of years in college after being drafted in 2021. He continued to do well. Then he would sign his ELC and get a short stint with the Arizona Coyotes, putting up 5 goals and 9 points in 11 games in Arizona, which would be the last few months of the Arizona Coyotes franchise. Because just after he arrived and signed his ELC in the Coyotes organization, they would move, relocate, and become the Utah Mammoth. So in his first season with the Utah Hockey Club at the time, he had 7 goals and 19 points in 51 games. Really solid player. He's starting to look like a really solid top 9 forward. But there's actually been another trade involving Josh Doan, and it actually happened this past offseason, and that's why the Buffalo Sabres banner is up there. And that's because the Utah Mammoth and Buffalo Sabres made a trade, and the trade was as follows. The Buffalo Sabres traded J.J. Peterka to Utah for Josh Doan and Michael Kessling. So Doan was packaged with Michael Kessling to get the Utah Mammoth J.J. Peterka. Now, at this point in time, Peterka has yet to play a game for the Utah Mammoth, so we have no stats on how Doan's done in Buffalo or how Peterka's done in Utah, so I can't give you any stats on that. But the Derek Stepan trade directly helped the now Utah Mammoth get J.J. Peterka. So very interesting note there. Like, if you look at these two teams from both sides, a whole bunch of years back, like I think both teams were hoping for more when it came to this trade that they made back in 2017. But if you look at it right now, the New York Rangers have Will Cooley because of this trade. The Utah Mammoth have J.J. Peterka. So I don't think you can really say either team did overly bad in this trade. So very interesting note there. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Who do you think won this trade? Now 7 years since this trade has happened. Was it the Rangers getting DeAngelo and a 2017 first round pick, which is now Will Cooley? Or was it the Arizona Coyotes getting Derek Stepan and Antti Raanta, which now for the Utah Mammoth has turned to J.J. Peterka? Definitely have to get thoughts on all of that down in the comment section below. Who do you think won this deal? And if you have any more trade trees you want me to discuss on my YouTube channel, leave a comment down in the comment section below and I'll try to get to it. Definitely have your thoughts on all of that down in the comment section below. That's all I'm going to talk for today. We're going to like this video. If you're like to subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this without all of you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't forget to comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to stay tuned for more videos coming out in the very near future. I also do a blog talking about news, rumors, analysis. If that's going to check that out, I've linked that down in the description below. Can't wait to see you guys all for the next video. See you guys soon.